Hello Capricorn, thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Star Spinner Tarot by Trungles. Is it Trungles? Where is it? Trungles. It's at the bottom of that purple area. There is a website for this, chroniclebooks.com on the back. If I can get it close enough. Which I'm kind of getting excited. I want to go check out that website. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of great decks there. I don't know. I haven't been there. But we'll find out, I guess. Or I'll find out later. If there's not, that's probably good because I get card drunk and I buy too many decks. But Supportive Cards, Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra N. Taylor. And there's no website on that one that I saw. But if you search her up, I'm sure you'll find her stuff. I think she's relatively recent. I'm not sure how long I've had that deck. What do we have? Okay. Oh, that's a curious card. Alright, those are face down. You have a very curious energy coming in here. Now, you got the Six of Cups with the Three of Cups, right? Okay. For a lot of you, this is a social situation. Could be work. I mean, Capricorn, right? You guys are busy usually. Seems like you guys are usually planning or working on something. You're just involved with things. And what I'm getting from this is it's kind of like the history of a situation, and it could be work connected, where I feel like you get along with people, but the history of it is saying, I do get along with people, but I feel like I end up doing a lot of work, and a lot of other people get more of the joy than I get. I think that's the envy. Because I don't really... Like, I know envy is not a fun word, right? It's the card that popped up here, but I think that's why. Because it's kind of like, you know, I make sure this works out. I put in all the effort, and some people get more benefit out of this than they deserve. But if I didn't put in the effort, nobody would get what they deserve out of this situation. I wouldn't get what I deserve. The other people who deserve what they get, you know, other people get what they deserve, but there's like, if you think of like there's 50 people, I don't know why 50, you put in the appropriate amount of energy, but it's like everybody gets the benefit, but then there's like, you know, 5 to 10 people who just didn't do hardly anything, and you're like, that's not right. And I think that's it, kind of like, how come they get to screw off and just, you know, get all the benefits, but they don't put in all the work? Like, it's just, it's annoying. Because when I'm getting envy, it's kind of like, it's a very tricky energy here, because it's kind of like, you're not looking to be the one who just sits there and does nothing. It's kind of like, you want them to do their appropriate part. And it's kind of like, you know, it's a weird energy. I know it says envy, but I feel like it's kind of like, I'd rather those people just get replaced with other people who do what they're supposed to do. Because if those other people did what they were supposed to do, the rest of us could enjoy more. We wouldn't have to work as hard because it would be distributed more evenly. But because it's not, you have to be you're one of the people that makes up for the difference. So I know it's envy, but it's basically like, I just don't feel like you want to be those people. But I feel like the fact that they're allowed to do that, it's kind of like, you know, it must be nice to have that type of leeway. It's something like that. I don't feel like you want to be those people. Like, envy usually gives that kind of like that feeling like I want to be them. I don't think you want to be them. I think you just kind of want to like, you want to replace them. Is more. I'm getting more of that energy. And in the environment, well, okay, all right, they're showing more of what the envy is. These people who get away with things that it's just not right, they're very well loved. They've got the heart chakra with the Lover's card here. And I think that's the part that maybe, I can see where you would envy that. Like, maybe that's why they're getting away with that, because they're in the in-group, This reminds me of, I don't think anybody's going to know what I'm talking about anyway. So I'll give it this example. I worked at a place once where there was a lot of nepotism. And there was people who knew people friends with people. People got hired because they were friends of this person. And there were some people that were just, I'm going to judge, it's going to sound really judgmental, but they're just flat out worthless. It's just kind of like, the only reason they had this certain job is because of who they knew. And they were very loved by those people. And it was just kind of like, you would watch those people and be like, that must be nice. Can you imagine somebody having those type of connections that was actually able to produce what they should produce? You know what I mean? Do what they should do. You'd think people would value that or honor that more when they get ahead, even though it's not the best way to get ahead. But when, you think they'd honor that and make good on it, and then you see people get into those positions and they don't really deserve it, and they don't really seem to understand that they should be pulling their weight because they got in through a person. I don't know why I'm going there, but I feel like it's something like that. Kind of like, I can see where, like, oh, I wish I was loved by that person, because I could do a lot with that. If I had those type of ins, those type of green lights where people just loved me right off the bat and I could do what I wanted, I could go so much farther than that person. But I don't, and I feel like that's what I'm looking at. I think if the envy is really going to click in, it's basically because certain people are cared for and have a lot of security, and a lot of emotional security at least. And it's kind of like, yeah, it seems crappy. I should have that. If I had that, if you, the Capricorn, had that, you could take that so much farther, and you could make so much better on it. But the people who have it are the people who have it, because that makes more sense to me. Like, I wish I had a buddy that would get me up to the top real quick. I could go so much farther than these people. I feel that over and over again. But the tower's coming for them. What are we talking about with this? You're not unnoticed. Be aware of that. Is it beware of that or be aware of that? The difference for me is like beware is like, like something could be going wrong here. Be aware is maybe like, just maybe you can make value on this if you just pay attention a little closer. Maybe you can use this more to your advantage. That's the difference. So I'm getting like it's kind of a mix of both. Like, be careful, people, you are noticed. So if you say something, people do hear it. Also, be very aware that you are valued. You're a very valued person. Because it's not unnoticed that you do what you need to do and you get things done that need to get done. I'm getting the Queen of Cups on your side too. And I'm feeling like, again, these are people you get along with. It's just some people get away with things that you can't. And it's just kind of like, that's not right. But I'm getting this Queen of Cups, like, I feel like you're starting to get some, like, something extra is coming your way. Something extra that you deserve. It's kind of like, it's technically extra, but it's kind of like, yeah, but I deserve it. Like, I worked extra, I should get extra. Like, if you put in extra effort, you should get extra out. That's how that should work. So you are getting some extra. I do feel like you just got to be careful what you say. It's the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups can be very emotional. I feel very positive energy with her at this moment, in the sense of like, I'm going to be careful what I say. You just got to be careful what you say. Just be careful what you say. You're going to have the need or the want or the inkling to say something that's true. It's not like you're saying something that's not true, but you get more bees with honey rather than vinegar. Like, think of that, because it is affecting your situation. So whatever you say, especially if somebody hired their child or something, and you say something negative about their lazy child, doesn't matter that you're right. They're just going to be like, oh, you said something about my kid, my pride and joy. I don't that's really rotten, but there you go. Because you make up for the lacking of this other person. And I feel like there's some type of connection there. There's an emotional connection with this person. They know that you make up for this other person's shortcomings, but they care about that person. So just be careful what you say. Just be careful. Because I'm getting, like, people are realizing, like, we need that Capricorn in a more effective position. They do a lot. They're very good with responsibility. When they say they're going to do it, it gets done. And they're good at doing what, like, they'll tell you the truth and they'll do it. It's It's the Fool, but I keep getting this Queen energy here. Because I feel like there's an energy here where somebody could do better. They're just not. You know, they're just not. And I'm getting, like, other people around them are kind of like, you know, are you going to start, like, the Capricorn's running circles around you. And you're supposed to be up in this level of the rung of the ladder, of the corporate ladder, and they're supposed to be over here, but they're performing like they're above you. Like, do you know that? Like, the way the Capricorn performs, they perform as if they're above your pay grade. And they're technically below your pay grade. Like, do you not realize that? Like, they're making you look like an idiot. And it's not like they're trying to, it's just you're slacking. That's why you're not looking. You should be up there. You should be setting the example, not the Capricorn. And the Capricorn is setting that very good example. I think that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Because it's not like a bad thing for you. It's just basically somebody saying, you know, it's like basically when you have a teacher in school that should be knowing of the ins and outs of the math situation, and maybe they're a new teacher, and the student comes in and has been like very good at math, and like goes, well, actually this is how that works, and actually the student teaches the teacher, and it's kind of like some people over to this side are going, the student is teaching you how to do that. You're supposed to know how to do that and help the student. That's the energy. I hope that makes sense, because I feel like I have to clarify that a little bit. It's kind of like you're going into a situation you're supposed to not know or be that good, but you're clearly better than the person who's supposed to be leading the situation, and it's very obvious. Because I'm getting the Emperor here, kind of like somebody's unhappy, and they're kind of like, this is ridiculous. If the Capricorn is outperforming you, like, okay, granted, the Capricorn is really good, but still, you should be a lot better than that. And somebody's getting kind of called out. I don't know if you're going to see that, because I'm getting, like, the truth is coming forward. Because you got the Death card with the Man in the Mirror here, or the Magician in the Mirror. It's kind of like, you know, when you look at the Magician in the Mirror, one hand has ice, but in the other hand, in the mirror, you're seeing fire. So the question is, what's really here? Like, what's really going on here? What's the truth? And it's coming forward, like, you're playing it off like it's ice, but it's turning out it's actually fire, or vice versa. You're playing it off like it's fire, there's a lot going on here, that you're stagnant, you're ice, you're not doing what you should be doing. Not you, it's them. Alright, so, I don't know if it's really public, but this is changing things. Because I feel like somebody's like, yeah, the Capricorn's out. They're like running circles around you. This looks really bad. Not for the Capricorn. Looks great for the Capricorn. Looks really bad for the other person. Because it seems like somebody's getting singled out here. 3 cards face down. Oh, you're going to have to be quiet about this. Why? You have deceit on your side. But it's hidden behind the door to value and the garden and the gate. I feel like you're being called on to help this situation balance. That deceit, that's weird. But it's kind of like you're getting something out of this situation. Are you going into a different area? You might get like some type of benefit from this. But you also have to be careful what you say. That's the deceit. Again, because I feel like it's bothering you at this point, and you gotta kind of look like you're happy with something that you're like, oh, that's bull. That's ridiculous. It's part of the game. Whatever you're dealing with, you know this. You know that. This is nothing new to Capricorn. There's people you gotta deal with sometimes, and you gotta act like it's okay even though it's not. Because if you call it out for what it is, people get all bent out of shape, and then all of a sudden you're difficult. That's what I'm getting from it. That's the deceit. I think that's what the deceit is. Like, okay, I gotta shut my mouth on some stuff. Doesn't matter that I'm right, because somebody will twist it around and make me look like, oh, I'm a troublemaker. No, I'm not a troublemaker. I'm calling it out for what it is. But no, we know how that goes. I say something, and then everything's bad, and I'm just, Satan on a stick here. But nope. That's the deceit. I think, because it's like, I'm kind of surprised it's there, because I'm just like, Capricorn just reminds me of like, you have something to say and you get annoyed enough, it's just gonna, there it goes. It just seems to me that that's how it goes. It may not be all the time. Like, you can keep a secret if you want to, if you decided you're going to. Like, nobody's gonna tell you what to do. If you don't want to say something, then you're not gonna say it. That's just how it is. But I'm getting with this energy, I'm annoyed, but I'm like, you know what? This isn't gonna work against me. I'm not gonna do that. Nope. And you're going to get that door to value, and you're going to leave this situation behind. Because I feel like you're kind of going into something else. You have to help somebody that I feel like you're kind of like helping them do the role the way they should be doing the role. You do get some compensation from this. Definitely. Like, you definitely do. But you're not totally happy with the beginnings of this. Because I feel like somebody's blocked. They don't know really what to do. They're trying to figure it out, but they need some help figuring it out. And it's just kind of aggravating to me, kind of like, you know, the roles should be flipped. You should be the leader, they should be the one learning. And technically, they're going to be learning from you, but it's being played off, like, publicly as if it's the reverse. And it's annoying, and it's like, I mean, you are getting compensated, you are getting some type of accolade for this. Like, it is like a feather in your cap. This is some value that's going to add later. It's really kind of weird, because they're blocked, but they need help. And I do see you kind of like not really happy about it, but you do get good coming out of this, and you're kind of like, this is ridiculous. I'm helping this person be the leader that I already am, even though they're supposed to be leading me, or something like that. It's kind of like they're supposed to be a leader, and I'm supposed to be one of these people. Yeah, I have to teach them how to do their job correctly. Like, what? And you don't like it at first. But this person, like, this person is going to realize they owe a lot to you. You're helping them fix things, and they're learning a lot from you. Whoever this is, it's not lost on them that, you know, their life is going to get easier because they're learning from you. And they may not like the process of, like, the way things need to be done, but they're going to understand once they start doing it that life is a lot easier if you stick with the plan and you follow things the way you're supposed to. At first, they don't get it. They don't understand, like, why you're so good at it. They don't get it. You have a structure. You work from your structure. You take you build it from the base and you build it up. And you're like, well, you start with the fundamentals. You got to understand the fundamentals before you can go to the first level. When you get the fundamentals, you build the first level. And once you have those two stabilized and you keep checking back and forth to make sure they're solid, then you create that second level. But you got to make sure everything is solid first. And then when you get that up there, you check, you know, you double check things, you triple check things, you make sure that second level is solid. Then you go to your next level. Like, and you're showing this, you're like, you got to know what you're doing. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. You got to think about it. You got to use the basics here and keep referring back to those basics to make sure you stay on point. And at first they don't get it. They're a little bit, I don't know, they just don't get it. But you were there to do a job, and you're just like, I didn't get involved with this to fail. So that's very Earth. That's definitely Capricorn. I didn't get involved with this to fail. So you're like, okay, it takes a minute, then it takes a minute, but I'm gonna show them how to do this. You are committed like nobody's business, because you're already kind of annoyed with this situation, and you're like, I didn't show up just to be annoyed. I came up to win. I showed up to win. So they're gonna understand. Sooner or later, they will understand, and you're not gonna back down with this. That's definitely Capricorn energy, without a question. Not giving up. Not when you see the success there. It may be a bit of a rough road, but you're like, I don't care. I'm gonna make. I came here to get through this. I came here to succeed through this road, and I'm gonna. And that's your energy, like, oh, I'm gonna. Oh, I'm gonna. And if they don't get it now, they will. Oh, they will. That seems like your energy. Oh, they will. They'll get it. It's going to take the results to start coming in. When you keep reiterating the basics, and then start building first level, basics, first level, basics, first level, until you think the first level is so solid. And then they start realizing, hey, this is easier. And you're like, yeah, because you know the basics now. Because you know the basics. They're like, all of a sudden they get it. Like, it clicks. Like, oh, wait. I mean, oh. like, yeah, like that basement, the basics, they're really important. And you're like, yeah. You're like, yeah, of course they are. It snaps. All of a sudden they get it. I'm getting the red chakra, the root chakra, the base chakra. Like, you were really instilling the basics. I feel like you're doing a lot with that, with this person. Like, you're really building up the basics and helping them jump into the first level. And I feel like once you really make your point and you really show them structure, work with the structure. You can't, like, it's kind of like you can't do enough of the base just to say it's there and then start working on other levels. And, like, even though, like, you don't even have the first floor started, start working on things you're going to put on the second floor. Like, why would you do that? Why would you get the window frames and the stairs that are going to be on the second level? Why start working on them when you haven't even really started the first level? That makes no sense. And to you, this is, like, obvious. Like, you don't start working on, like, the second floor of a house when you don't even have the basement finished. Like, why would you do that? To you, that's rudimentary. That's, like, obvious. Why would you do that? They seem to, like, jump around, and they're like, yeah, well, I was getting the shingles for the attic roof, and you're like, you haven't even finished the basement, and you're getting the shingles for the attic roof? Why? What are you doing? You've made the point, like, do things in order, reinforce your basics, and they finally, that's the thing. I'm getting the primal root red chakra, which they do give a little tinge of pink there, which is nice. But, they're getting it. Like, finally, at some point, it's like all of a sudden the light bulb turns on, and they're like, oh, that makes obvious sense. And you're like, I know. I know it does. They, like, once they finally start clicking in and they see the outcome and they understand, they finally start to get it, I feel like this person's going to be, like, right there with you. They're going to be, like, very thankful, very appreciative. You got this Ace of Cups between you and this person. This might have been the problem the whole time. I feel like maybe on the outside they might have looked lazy or like they couldn't do it, but in truth, they were just all over the place and they were just very ineffective. It's like they were just ineffective, very ineffective. And they just looked like they weren't really doing much. They might have been doing things, but it just was going nowhere. It's kind of like a lot of wasted effort before that is going to change. You're going to help this person build a strategy and do things much better. You're showing them the value of strategy and the value of doing things in the right order and putting together a plan and sticking to that plan. This is actually going to end really well. I feel like this whole reading, like, it took forever, I know. But the whole thing is, you're going through all these things and this person is annoying you. In the long run, this person, I think, is going to be a great ally because I'm getting, like, this is, like, reinforcing your base connection to the situation. This is going to be a person that's going to be your ally and kind of like, you know what? I'm up here, and that Capricorn knows what they're doing. They should be up here with me. They always should have been. They always should have been up in this level. They should be one of us. And I feel like you're going to have, like, an ally. Especially because I don't see you... Like, you have to be quiet, right? The deceit was there. You have to be quiet. You don't like that. But in the long run, because you didn't tell people about what was really going on here, this person, like, sees you as an ally, too. They're going to look out for you. Like, you're going to have a buddy. Like, I don't know if you want this to be a buddy when it starts off, but in the end, this is somebody who's going to be like, yeah, I owe that Capricorn, and I have to look out for the Capricorn. I think we're there. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.